All right, we're going to try this again. I don't know what was wrong with my internet. It's Chrissy Hannes coming to you live in the Global Inspiration Stamp Team from, again, cold Florida, but, well, it's cold to us. So they're saying we could have wintry mix tonight. It's supposed to rain. It's just going to be cold. So anyway, we're out here with the heater on. Let me see if I pulled myself back up. All right, I did. Okay, so I'm going to showcase to you the Greenery Lane bundle. It's on page 56 and 57 in the mini catalog. It comes with a stamp set and dies, and it also comes with the washi tape. However, today we are not using the washi tape or the dies. You could make this card using the dies that I'm going to show you, but I'm just going to be using the stamp set today. The feature is the bone folder, which can be found on page 102 in the mini, or in the annual catalog. Sorry, annual catalog. These have been around forever. I'm sure everybody has them. Mine are somewhat well loved. As you can see, this one is all stained up. So I have a plethora of bone folders laying around. Hi, Charlotte. So I'm going to show you a couple different things that you can do with the bone folder. Here is the card that we are going to make today. So we'll just set that right there. All right, so obviously one way to use the bone folder, and the most common method, bring our card pieces in here, is to obviously give your paper a good crisp score. Get this folded up right here like this. Give it a crease, and then you just give it a nice score so that it helps your card lay flat, stuff like that. All right. Another method to use your bone folder is if you have a die cut piece. This is just a random piece that was up in my little cubby, and you can use it to curl it, to like curl your flowers, curl your leaves, and it just gives them dimension on a card. Now, obviously, they'll flatten out when you put them in the mail, but it's a good way to give them texture. Okay. Another way is to break down the fibers in your paper. So you can sit here and do this over and over and over, and it really breaks down the fibers in the paper. This is a really old technique. I haven't used it in years. And in fact, I was just sitting here thinking of ways, what else can I show them to do with the bone folder? And then I remembered that you can really sit here and break down these fibers in your paper. And then it gives it like a leathery look. And then when you do it enough, you can actually get the paper to come apart. But it takes a while. But even just doing this, and it gives it a leathery look, it just adds texture to your card. So that's another way you can use it. And then the other way, and Joy showed how to do it yesterday, and we're going to do it on our card, and it involves the Simply Scored tool, because she had the little stylus that goes with hers. Well, mine is somewhere in this craft shed, but it's not with my Simply Scored tool like it should be. Okay, so there's some different, and it says in the book that you can also use it to curl your ribbon. I don't use mine. I've never been able to get my ribbon to curl. But like when you undo this twine, see how curly it is? I use my bone folder to smooth it out more than curl it, so that I can get it more straight like that. So that's how I use mine. I've never been able to get my ribbon to curl with it. I know some people can, but I guess I'm not that talented. So let's get to making our card today. So our card base is going to be Old Olive. Standard card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. 2 pieces of basic black, 4 by 5 1/4, one for the outside, one for the inside, and 2 pieces of basic white, 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, again, one for the outside and one for the inside. So let's do our stamping first. And for my stamping, I have Old Olive, Pretty Peacock, and Basic Black. think somebody else showed this yesterday, that they use their white on inked pad that you get and they fill it with their Memento. I also do the same thing. I think you get a much bolder look. Oh, I have one more use for the bone folder. So my one over here, that's all, when you have too much ink, I use mine to push some of my ink in to the pad. It doesn't damage the pad. Other people I know use spoons. Me, I just use an old bone folder. And then I just use a baby wipe or a tissue to wipe it off. Yes, it stains it, but that's okay. It's still useful. All right, so now let's do our stamping. So I have my biggest leaf image. When I do this technique, oh, well, the first thing we have to do, look, I'm getting ahead of myself. The first thing we have to do is we have to stamp our sentiment in the middle of this white piece of paper. So using my Memento Black, I'm going to grab my sentiment. And for this one, we're going to use Love and Hugs. And we're going to stamp that right basically in the middle of our white cardstock. And then while we have that out, we need a 2-inch circle. Wouldn't you know? So we need a 2-inch circle in white as well for the same sentiment. So we're going to stamp it on the white, and then you'll take it and you'll stamp it right on your circle. And it fits perfect on the 2-inch circle. Love and Hugs. Okay, so there's our sentiment. And now we can bring back in our old olive ink pad. Getting ahead of myself over here. I've enjoyed presentations. I have some to watch from today. I watched some, I think I watched most of them from yesterday. I might still be missing one. So we're going to take it and we're just going to stamp it right here. Okay. And then I probably shouldn't push that ink into my pad because now it looks like it needs re-inked. I should have used a juicier pad to do that. And then we're going to stamp another one going this way. And then I have my copy paper under me. You guys are going to giggle at me. I have a really, really heavy desk. It's like an executive desk, like the L shape. And my grid paper fell behind it. And I don't want to have to move my desk to get it. So I have a new pack coming. So for now, we're using copy paper. And then this third one, we're going to put like this. And it's going to come, it's going to be off the paper just a little bit. The whole thing is not going to fit. And at this point, you're probably thinking, Chrissy, what is this mess you're making? But trust the process. All right, so I'm going to close my old olive ink pad up. And we're going to bring the Memento Black back in. And we're going to take our next biggest leaf image that we're using. And we're just going to fill in these gaps. Okay. And, ooh, I almost put that upside down. We're going to have to start over.
Hey, Mom.
Okay. What, Kennedy?
You know how you said we were going to keep the shed clean?
Yeah, we need to clean it, don't we?
Yeah.
And we're going to put one right there.
Why is like this so messy yet?
I don't know, Kennedy, but can you please be quiet, please? Mommy's live. All right. We're going to bring our black back in, but we'll close it for now so we don't have any mishaps. Now, the pretty peacock, we're going to bring in this tiny little stem right here. We just want to add a pop of color. You want to put these ones up a little bit higher so that when we put our sentiment on, they don't cover them up. It doesn't cover it up. Put one right there.
So cute.
Kennedy's over at her desk crafting. And, or drawing, or whatever she's doing. I don't know. All right. So then, and we're going to repeat this process for the inside. Not totally, but. And then the black one more time. And this is this image. And but I don't want to fill. You can line it up and fill them in if you want, but I'm not going for that look. So I'm just kind of offsetting them. Okay. And that looks like a huge mess, doesn't it? Kind of. All right, so now let's bring in for the inside the white, and we're going to go with love and hugs on the front, and then simply wishing you well. On the inside. And then we will bring in some of the elements from the outside of the card. So let's bring our old olive back in and grab that biggest leaf again. And we're going to put a little down here and a little up top. Like that. Now we're done with the old olive for good. And then we'll bring the black one in, the leaf. And we'll stamp a little of that right there. Even right there. And then we'll close that up because we're done with the black. And then the pretty peacock. So I'm not going to put this one on the inside just because it's not the full, we're just peeking. So we'll put a little of the peacock right there.
Peacock.
And we'll put a little pretty peacock right there. Okay. All right. So that is all of the stamping that we have to do. So we'll put this aside. We're going to set this aside for just a minute. We're about to make a mess. Let's cover up our workspace a little bit. Let's bring in that front panel again. And I just thought this needed spritzing. So I just have one of our old Stampin' Right markers. I know we don't sell them anymore, but chances are you guys all have a basic black marker laying around. You can use your blends for this. You just have to be more careful and it will ruin the tip. So I take the wide end, I just put it in my cap and I flick. And it just adds speckles. That's all. Okay. But I thought this card needed speckles. All right. So that is all of the stamping that we have to do. So now, before we adhere this, I'm going to bring in my Simply Scored tool. Joy showed us all the wonderful tips about this. And I want to add lines like Joy showed you that you can have. But I want the bumpy part to be up, the embossed side. So I'm going to flip it like this, and I want them on this side of my card. And I'm going to use my bone folder because I don't know where my stylus is. And I'm just going to go every other line, and I'm going to make 3 of them. And then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees. Was that 90 degrees? I don't know. I'm going to turn it a quarter of a turn. How's that? And I'm going to do 3 this way. And now that just adds some texture to the card. But you want to do this after you do your stamping. All right. Now we can assemble our card. So before you adhere the white to the black, you want to bring in your 2 1/4 inch punch and punch out a black piece. And that it won't show because it's going to be covered up. Okay. So now we can adhere this. Let's use our seal. Ooh, we might run out of seal. Oh. And it's unorderable right now due to our sale, but don't worry, it'll be back. So speaking of sales, everybody's mentioned it's bonus day time. So here in the US, for every $50 you spend, you can earn a $5 coupon to spend in February. They will be emailed to you only one time. So when I got mine, I copied them and I pasted them into a couple different places so I don't lose them. Okay. And then, so this bundle, the Greenery Lane bundle, let me see, is $49.50. So if you did that and you added the washi tape, that would qualify you. That'd get you to 65. So that would qualify you for one bonus day coupon. And then if you add, I don't know, a pack of paper, you would qualify for the product of the month, which this month is a stamp set. Mine will be here, I think, on Tuesday. Now we can add this to the front of our card. So that looks like a huge mess with all those flower ends and stuff like that. But we're going to rectify that right now. So I'm just going to adhere that like that. And I'm going to pop up my sentiment. I'm like Joy. I probably overdo it with my dimensionals. But that's okay. Plenty to go around. Get off of there. Alright. Let's push those off to the side. I'm sure they'll end up on the floor. And now we're just going to center that right over, got a little snag, right over our sentiment that we did first. Okay. And now I thought we already speckled it with the black marker. So now I'm going to bring in my Wink of Stella. So I take a permanent marker and I write what month I open my Stellas, because I have plenty of open Winks of Stellas on my desk. And that way I know when I'm live that I'm grabbing one that's full. I'm just going to color in these big leaves. Just add a little sparkle. Okay. Now you could just spritz this on there too before you put your sentiment on, but I thought it was pretty to color in the leaves. So there is the front of our card. And then I'm going to bring in the green twine. And I'm going to do a double bow. So I'm going to cut 2 links here that are similar in size. Okay. This is the twine, the green, early espresso and old olive linen thread. Sorry, it's not twine. Close. All right, just kind of straighten these out a little bit. And we're going to tie a bow on camera. Here we go. Why didn't I pre-tie this? Oh, I don't know. Brave. Brave thinking I can do it on camera. Oh, get in there. Yeah, see, Leanne did this yesterday too. Why do we think we can do this on camera? Silly, silly. Let's try this one more time. One more time. Oops. Come on, get through there. There we go. Okay. Now we'll just straighten out our ends. Oops, where's our end? Come down here. Alright, this is a wonky bow, but we're going to make it look somewhat presentable. Okay, there we go. Now we'll just trim these ends a little bit with my ribbon scissors. Okay. And then we'll bring in a glue dot, or take your pick tool and roll this up. I just like to roll it into a little dot, stick it on the back, our bow, and then I can just tuck it right there by that. Like that, okay? And then for our inside, we just need to adhere the white to the black. And then adhere this to the inside. And then of course, even though we splattered with the black, even though we put the Wink Costello, we still got to put some gems. So for that, I've got the, I just had them. Oh, there they are. I have the iridescent foil gems. Thought I was pretty prepared today. I haven't had to look for anything. And then I show you guys a couple tips here. So I'm gonna put one right there, a small one right here, and a larger one right up here, like that. Okay, so there is our card. I open my embellishments on the side, and then I don't have to fight with the adhesive trying to get them back in. Well, now I'm struggling to get them back in even like this. So there's another tip for you guys. I just open mine from the side and then slide them in and out. All right. So there is our card. And then I wanted to show you a few samples. So there's that one. Here's one I did, and I didn't add the bone folder. I didn't add the lines, so it looks pretty either way. And then here's one I used the color combo of Granny Apple Green and Old Mossy Meadow. So there's that one. And then I did one in fall colors. I know this ribbon is retired.
Mom,
but
I wanted to disturb, so I found chip it on the floor.
Okay.
I'll put it on my shoes later. Okay?
I did this one in fall colors. So Cajun Craze, Crushed Curry, and instead of the black, I did the Blackberry Bliss. Okay, so there's some samples. And then I wanted to give you guys a tip. I know we didn't use the washi tape, but I wanted to give you a tip on how I apply it to the paper. Everybody has their own method. I struggle if I just lay it like that. So I turn my washi tape upside down and unroll it. And then I just stick my paper down like that. And to me, each time I do it this way, I don't get wrinkles. And it just lays down so flat. Okay. So I have a little bit left on this edge, and I just tuck it under, or you can trim it, whichever works for you. I think Ginny showed us the last washi tape we had on a global fair. So now I can just tuck those ends, or I can trim them off. But when I do that, I don't get any wrinkles, very little wrinkles in my paper. And if you do, you can just kind of use your bone folder to flatten them out. And now these pieces on the washi tape can actually be cut out with the dies. So I wanted to show you guys here. Here's the dies. So you can cut, this one can be cut out with the die, and this guy can be cut out with the die. Ooh. And this guy. Oh my goodness, they're stuck. This guy can be cut out with the die. And these big ones cannot, but this one can. Okay. And then even the flowers, so even these flowers can be cut out with the die like that. So you can use your washi tape, put it on paper, and then die cut it out with the dies if you wish to. Or you can just use the stamps and then die cut that way too. So I hope you enjoyed my project today. I am the last presenter for this weekend. Maureen will be on at the top of the hour to close everybody out. So remember that our videos are available on Facebook for 30 days and then Facebook deletes them. So if you want access to them after that, you will need to get with your demonstrator who invited you and purchase through her in order to get the PDF that would have our YouTube links in it. Plus it will have all the cutting supplies and all of that in the PDF. And remember, it's bonus days and all the goodies. Plus you earn your Stampin' Rewards, plus you can earn the product of the month. So it's a great time to shop with your demonstrator. So as I said, Maureen will be on at 2 o'clock and we will see you the next go around for the Global Inspiration Stamp Team. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.